All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I am back with another Starcraft 2 1 versus 1 replay cast. It's actually going to be at least a few replays here. It's another one of these WCS casts, so the World Championship Series. Some of the cream of the crop as far as Starcraft 2 goes, and yeah, we've got ourselves a fantastic TvP here. It's going to be on the map Acropolis for starters, of course. It's a best of 5, so we'll be on a few maps here. However, as far as this match goes, starting on the map Acropolis, and I'm really excited for this one. I feel like it's been a while since I really cast a foreign TvP or anything along those lines, so getting on into it, spawning in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's MaNa playing for Team Liquid, and up in the top left-hand side of the map, it is Time. One of the hardest, Time is boss mode for StarCraft 2 commentators, as his name is a word you use every now and then. Yeah, so it's always fun to cast. There's a few StarCraft players with names like that. This game's kicking off. MaNa's being a bit of a pain with his probe, just harassing a poor SCV, just trying to do his job. And then, oh no, MaNa losing the probe there. Oh, that's already a very sour start for the Protoss. So yeah, you don't want to be losing that first probe as the Protoss. Now let me just make sure that I pull up Time here. I always like to give credit to the player's team. So Time's playing for Team Newbie, for those of you unaware. And he ain't a newbie. Well, he kind of is a newbie, in a sense, as far as like being in the StarCraft 2 scene, in the sense that Time is on the up and up. And MaNa, on the other hand, he's definitely not. He's not playing for Team Newbie. He's playing for Team Liquid. And he's definitely not a StarCraft 2 newbie. He's one of the, I gotta say, one of the oldest pro players as far as, I don't know how actually old he is, but I know he's been around quite a long time. Still plays at a very high level, though, and still shows some very good games. And he's one of the more fun Protoss players to watch, and I think. He's got, like, a fair bit of variety in this play. Although, that being said, it has been a minute since I've seen a MaNa game. Like, MaNa, I mean, he plays consistently in WCS and everything, but I haven't seen him for quite a while, or just haven't had the luck of casting him. But here he is. He's going to be taking on Time in this WCS, so should be a fantastic match here, because Time, a fantastic Terran, but then MaNa, very, very good as far as Protoss goes. Look at this wall, by the way. Man, MaNa is trying to keep his Twilight Council on lock here, and just completely locking out the back of the base, like a Cybercore Gateway. By the way, oh man, look at this micro coming out of Time here. He's gonna micro around this Adept and try and kill it. And no way. Is he actually gonna kill the Adept? Look at this. The Reaper is working away in the Adept. This is some of the hardest micro to do in StarCraft 2. As far as a Reaper versus Adept, you get one misstep. If you make a second, your Reaper's pretty much dead. Time had to be very careful there. I mean, sometimes players like Maru, I think the first player who really showed it off with God tier micro was the first player to really kill an Adept, but Time showing that he's got it. Didn't kill the Adept, but bruised it up. Probably made MaNa very uncomfortable. It's like, oh man, gotta do something about that. But no, very well done by Time there at just showing his supreme micro. Like, that is something that you don't even think about doing, because you have to be so quick at the game. That's, yeah, it's something that you don't think about doing for a very long time. Now we take a look at MaNa here. He's getting up his gateway. Got his Adept and Sentry to defend so far, but I mean, Time really is putting the pressure on his opponent. We do take a look, though. Hallucinated Phoenix crossing the map for MaNa. He's got out a Stalker, so something with a bit more range to help him out, but this could still be a bit concerning here for the Protoss player. We take a look. Time, he's going to be loading up this Medivac here. 3 Hellions going to be loading up, and I don't know if MaNa's going to be prepared for this. He's getting out another Stalker, but his units aren't in position. This is a very quick rush coming at a time. He's going to be elevating these Hellions into MaNa's base, and it's going to be a probe massacre here as the Hellions starting on into the mineral line of MaNa. We take a look, 4 probes going down so far. MaNa does an okay job splitting them, but versus Hellions are pretty much guaranteed to take damage. And oh no, the Hellions, they dive on into the natural with the Medivac elevating them there, and MaNa just going to take more and more damage here. He's losing workers. He might get the Medivac, which would be very nice reparations there. And he does get that, so, I mean, he lost 9 probes, though, so still very, very painful for the Protoss. MaNa, he's chrono boosting out probes because he knows he's got to get that worker count going again. Warping in some more Stalkers here, as he was going for a Blink opening. And, I mean, there's always a chance you can get some counter damage done as the Protoss. And look at this MaNa, he's even scouting out, looking for a Liberator or something. Time, though, smart enough to send it back because he's a little bit concerned about these Stalkers. So, a very good opening for Time, but I'm still not giving up hope for MaNa in this game. He's in a very tough spot, make no mistake, as losing that many probes as the Protoss really sets you back. You might be like, well, they're equal on workers. MaNa's actually got himself a 2-worker lead. For the Protoss, that's not a good thing. The Protoss usually wants to be a few more than 2 workers ahead of the Terran at this stage in the game, because the races really have different rates of acceleration in a sense. Now, we take a look, though. Time just gonna be powered up, 3 racks bio. He's making a ton of Marines already. He's getting a stim on the way, and this is gonna have the makings for a very scary push coming MaNa's way in the future. I mean, we take a look at this. There's already just already a good chunk of bio out here for the Terran, and then once the 3 racks are on the way, the production's really just gonna kick off, and this is gonna be a very, very scary timing coming out of Time. And we see MaNa, he's getting up a 3rd base, which is important for the Protoss. I do really like the fact that he started up a robotics bay. We could maybe see disruptors here. We will be seeing Colossus out of the robo, though. But another very important thing I think that we need to see from MaNa is charge pretty soon here. You really do need charge to shut down Terran attacks that are coming your way. And it is indeed a 3 racks play coming out of Time. MaNa has scouted this, by the way. He's had enough of a heads up seeing the two tech labs there researching, so we should know that this is a 3 racks play. And if you're MaNa right now, you pretty much just need to be making units here right now, no exceptions really. He's got his Stalkers out on the map doing a good job containing the Terran until that Terran's gonna break free with the stim. In the meantime, you pretty much just need to be chrono boosting out Colossus, getting up your gateways. The lack of charge is gonna make me a little bit concerned here for MaNa, so he might just be trying to go the Blink Stalker route, which you try and take very good positional fights instead of just having a lot to buffer. Meanwhile, we see Time, he's actually going to be moving out for a drop. I really expected a head-on attack from the Terran, and he is going to be pressuring in multiple locations. Liberator to the north, Medivacs to the south, and then a main push through the center. So actually very, very scary attack coming here from Time. We'll see if MaNa's going to be able to stop this. We take a look. He's even placed a pylon in the south. This is probably just a scout a potential drop or something like that. MaNa's going to be getting pulled into multiple positions here. He's going to need to do a very good job with his defense. He's got Stalkers in his main base to try and intercept Medivac. Meanwhile, Stalkers are trying to pick off Widow Mines. He gets one. Every unit that MaNa gets with his Stalkers early on is so important. And he is about to have 2 Colossus, which is really going to help defend this. But then we take a look. Time's Liberator's heading into the natural. A Medivac drop into the main. Is MaNa paying attention? Time, though, is. So he knows that there's Stalkers there and decides not to go in. But then, oh, he does actually commit there. So MaNa not reacting in time as well. And the Stalkers really needed to get on top of these Medivacs in time before they unload, and so this is going to be very, very tough for MaNa to hold on. Time's charging on into the natural. He catches one of the Colossus. MaNa hadn't consolidated his forces there, and GG gets called. Time takes game number 1 here in this best of 5. Just looking too good. MaNa took too much early damage there, and then I mean, I think maybe there was a chance MaNa could have held that, but just with the Colossus being out of position, the fact that Time sent his Liberator to the natural, the drop in the main wasn't intercepted by MaNa. There definitely was the makings of a potential hold there for MaNa, I feel, or just not straight up dying like that. But, I mean, very well done by Time, of course. And now we'll take a look. We're going to get into the next game. That was a very good TvP showing from Time, and we'll see if MaNa's able to bring it back in the next match. It's a best of 5. You can lose a map or 2. You can't lose 3, though. So MaNa definitely wants to bring it back if he can. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this sort of commentary, make sure to press that like button. Let's try and break 20 likes on this video. I mean, it's been a while since I've cast a good TvP, and this seems to be one so far. I just enjoy MaNa and Time as players a lot. So we'll just continue on in this series here. It's a best of 5. Spawning in the bottom left-hand side of the map. Playing for Team Newbie. It's Time. And in the bottom right-hand side of the map, it's Liquid MaNa. I'm just hyped for this cast, actually. I feel like it's been far too long since I cast a TvP. A lot of TvZ. I've played a lot of TvZ lately. I've cast a lot of TvZ. TvP is a good matchup, too. I mean, I don't think I'll ever actually get sick of my TvZs, but casting a TvP can be very refreshing because the matchup seems to be one which there's the most volatility in a sense. As far as Terrans are concerned, I'd say, like, you're not really sure whether it's going to be, like, and the new patches have really changed it up too, so you're not really sure whether it's going to be very volatile or whether it'll be standard in a TvP. In a TvZ, you can kind of expect it to be a little bit hectic. TvP, I'd say there's a little bit more variety. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I haven't seen enough games lately to have a solid grasp on it. I'm still trying to make sure that I watch everything that I can, watching these WCS replays while commentating. Trying to stay on point as I'm going to be going to a LAN tournament in about 2 weeks here, ladies and gentlemen, and it's been a minute since I went to a LAN tournament. So that's going to be very fun, and as a matter of fact, I've only ever been to one LAN before that. Then I'm playing in the NA Contender, which is a very, very fun tournament. And so that's going to be fun. Going to be doing a bit of a ladder game. I might post that on YouTube, or at least post my results. I will try and show good games, basically. Speaking of good games, though, this one underway. Keep in mind, MaNa was destined to lose that last game. You lose the early probe, and it's just a bad omen. It's like a black cat or a Friday the 13th, something like that. Losing your early probe in a PvT, not very good for the Protoss at all. So MaNa making sure that that doesn't happen again. He's sending his probe away. Just the Reaper's gonna probably look for it. Time sending this Reaper away, whereas MaNa just sending this probe home. He's like, nope, I've had enough. I'm sending this poor probe home. Which I think is a very mature decision from the Protoss player, as that one probe does actually add up and give you more resources, believe it or not. Like, one probe can make a bit of a difference. It's something to consider. Meanwhile, we take a look on Time's side of the map. He's getting up a bunker and a factory, which I absolutely love to see from the Terran player, as a bunker early on just saves you such a headache. Any matchup, pretty much, a bunker will really help you out. So, it's pretty much always worth it. Then you can salvage it and get your money back at the end, which is, it's just like a bonus. It's like, oh, sweet. Return your bottles, right? Something like that, basically. Now, we do take a look here. This Reaper is alone. This Sentry is alone, and am I a bad StarCraft 2 player? I don't know what wins. I feel like the Sentry on the high ground is going to win, and then there's a Stalker out on the way, so there's no danger of that happening. Double Marines about to pop out for Time. It's just probably just going to be continuous with that production. You want to get up a good, solid, massive bio. Meanwhile, the Adept sharking about. Looking for this Reaper, I feel. Heading on home. Meanwhile, though, Hallucinated Phoenix goes out for MaNa, so I do like this play coming out of MaNa here. He's actually going for a Warp Prism, and the Warp Prism is going to be able to allow you to micro early on, which is something that MaNa is very, very good at as a player, and just sometimes go for like an early poke that may try and catch the Terran off guard. Of course, MaNa comes on in. He sees there's a, he already knew there was a bunker, but reaffirms that there's a bunker there. So I don't know how much he's really going to be able to get done with the Warp Prism and a few Gateway units, but you never know. MaNa's a very good player in that sense, and I was actually talking about this. Ladies and gentlemen, I was on the Pylon show. That was pretty awesome being on the Pylon show, and I actually mentioned during that, one of the segments there, that I was like, you know, I love these early Warp Prism builds that Protoss sometimes go for. I mean, maybe I'm going to be proven wrong here and just be like, oh man, maybe I'm going to be proven wrong here and that it's just going to fall flat on its face. But, oh, look at this for MaNa. Catches these Widow Mines here. And these mines are pretty much done for as long as MaNa micros, right? Definitely so. Nicely done there from MaNa. Beautiful play there from the Protoss. I mean, if he gets this medivac, that would be huge. Doesn't quite get it, though. So that's a little bit painful. He's going to warp in more Stalkers. MaNa's really excited here. He wants to make this push happen. He's going to elevate her up into the main base of his opponent. Got to be careful with that Prism, but there's actually no tanks in position just yet. The medivac gets picked up. Now there is indeed a tank up, though, so you got to be careful if you are MaNa. And, oh, 2 Stalkers get shot down by that tank, so it's doing work. Now, we take a look. MaNa moving in with one of his Stalkers. Going to lift that up. Work away on that mine. Got to be careful with the rest of his units. He is just microing away, and I love this kind of play early on. But no, before that craziness started to happen, I was saying, I was on the Pylon show. Go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. That was really great to be on there. And now let's take a look. MaNa just microing away, showing off this build that I hyped up. And let's take a look here. Oh, Stalker's taking shots. For those of you unaware, by the way, the Pylon Show, just a talk show on Twitch hosted by Artosis. Very great talk show. It's fun to be on it. MaNa, I mean, he's doing the best that he can with his Stalkers, but part of the effectiveness from this is that you're not really supposed to lose units, and it's just supposed to be a light commitment. MaNa's really committing here, and he's hoping to destabilize time enough that he can get significant dividends here. The Stalkers working away on the Marines, they focus him down one shot at a time. MaNa doing good micro with his Prism so far, but oh, he does lose another Stalker there, and he actually loses another one. So, I mean, his micro actually could be better here, being completely honest for MaNa. I feel like I'm almost afraid to talk bad about MaNa's micro, because it's usually super on point. But this game, it's really not going his way, and Time's reaction to this light pressure has been fantastic. Not taking any real significant damage. I mean, he lost a few Marines, some mines, a medivac, and some FCVs, but MaNa really delayed himself going for this push. And, yeah, so I feel like this is pretty darn good for Time. He's on 2 bases, powering up with his bio. He's got a very significant biomass. And then, yeah, taking a look, MaNa, I mean, he's quite behind. He's just getting up extended thermal lance +1. He doesn't have a Twilight. He doesn't have charge or anything. He really committed to this attack. I mean, if he just made like 4 Stalkers initially, that would have been fine. But he made quite a few and lost quite a few in this push. When with the Prism Micro, you're really not supposed to. I mean, there was a good interference matrix there from Time. But as far as like MaNa's effectiveness, it just wasn't there. Oh, this Prism, by the way, going to be used to continuously harass his opponent. Raven uses an interference matrix there once again, removing its energy, but still disabling this Warp Prism from being a pain a little bit longer. Now we take a look here. MaNa's like, uh-oh, I could be in a bit of trouble right now. He does have the 1 Colossus, though, a few Sentries, and an Immortal. The Immortals, or the 2 Immortals, are actually going to be immensely helpful because there's a high concentration of tanks and Marauders here from Time. Although whether Time goes for a typical attack or not is up in the air, and it's definitely not going to be a typical one here. 3 siege tanks are getting set up. I didn't even know this was a thing on the map Disco Bloodbath, and now we see Time is going to elevate units into the main base, and they're going to be covered by the siege tanks. MaNa, expecting an attack from another location, isn't prepared for this. He's going to be losing a pylon, the gas geyser, and now his Robo Bay, and oh no, the +1 was a second away, 1.3 seconds away from finishing. Can MaNa save this? I hope so for his sake. Dropping his Immortals in his Prism. Loses one of them, though, because of another good interference matrix. So Zealot's trying to push his attack away. MaNa doing his best to defend versus this. That Prism saves the Colossus. Nicely done there. There's not enough on the high ground, though, as far as firepower to send away the tanks. And we saw 8 probes went down to that. The +1 was delayed. The Robo Bay passed away as well. So that's really quite painful for MaNa, and everything considered, he's down on supply. He's throwing up shield batteries and a cannon at his third because he's like, well, the Terran's probably going to hit me in another location. MaNa's trying desperately to defend here. He's trying to focus down siege tanks, but then he's also got to defend his third, losing another 4 probes here. Time's just looking very, very good this game. Looks like this Nexus will be saved here by the Protoss player, pardon me. But, I mean, MaNa's really just getting toyed with this game. Time's showing fantastically. Stalkers and a few Zealots trying to defend versus this. A recall has to be used by the Protoss. Time is just pulling his opponent apart and not even able to get those units. Is MaNa, and then, oh man, Time comes on in. He's gonna get the 3rd Nexus from the Theme of Things, and that could actually just be lights out for MaNa here. MaNa's going for a bit of a counterattack. He sees the 3rd for the Terran, and I honestly wouldn't just blame him for GGing at this point. There's such a Terran force. MaNa losing his 3rd, though. He's trying to warp in some Zealots, go for some fun or some wonky harassment in a sense, even though there's Liberators working away in prison. And he is getting a bit of damage done here, but when everything is tallied up at the end of the day, Time's just done so much damage to his opponent. MaNa's going for the Hail Mary. He's moving across the map with 2 Colossus, some charge lots, and Stalkers. You got to give it to him for trying, but we see another Nexus goes down. His gateways are going to be getting unpowered. He's got no answer to this counterattack here, this drop, and there's just not going to be enough to make this attack work, and Time's going to take the 2-0 lead in this series. We take a look, and there we go. Time getting a 2-0, just pulling MaNa apart once again. MaNa, in the first game, he took a bit of damage. In the second game, he failed to do enough damage, and now we're heading into map number 3, which he's got to have one of the 2 of those things go his direction. Like, there's a lot of ways to play TvP. I mean, I'm really enjoying these games here. Fantastic showing from Time, just showing how to play Terran well. And then MaNa having a bit of a tough go at it with that build. I really like the build, and I feel like he's done it better in the past. But we're getting into the next game. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure to press that like button. And if you're new to the channel and you're this far into this commentary, feel free to subscribe, as I'm always putting out more StarCraft 2 content and just always having a good time with it. So, as I said before, feel free to subscribe. And yeah, I try and put out a video daily. Let's take a look here. This best of 5. Continuing on. Can MaNa bring it back? I'm not sure. It's going to be a tough one. And then there's Time. He's just looking really good. I really love MaNa because he does that kind of build. However, sometimes it just doesn't work out. And I know MaNa can do that build better. Like, I wouldn't even mind him seeing it again. But, I wouldn't mind seeing it again, but it's just like, Time is just such a good Terran player. So if you don't make that build sort of have its weird snowball effect or get enough damage, it's just, you're in trouble. And I definitely feel like MaNa can take down Time on any day of the week. So, like, let's see it, MaNa. I'm cheering for you here. In comes this probe, gonna harass. This poor SCV is just like, oh no, not again. Getting tased on the daily. Alright, now here's the question. Some jobs, like say a security guard or whatever, you gotta get tased. You gotta get tased in order to be qualified to be able to work the job. Does the same apply to probes? Because it's like if you're able to tase someone, you gotta be able to take it, right? So do probes have to get tased as part of a requirement for being a probe? That's a good question. And it is indeed not a taser, it's a particle beam. Pardon my StarCraft lore. The probe is just wanting to confirm that CC. It does. Now it's going to run away. It's going to go, oh no, a Reaper's coming. Away I go. And that Reaper is a-coming. Run from it. Dread from it. Destiny, aka the Reaper, arrives all the time. I guess that's the name of this Reaper, Destiny, aka Thanos. But to snap half your probes out of existence, MaNa. Let's see, the Reaper looking for a probe in the classic position there. Sometimes Protoss like to proxy. There are times like, nope. That's why it's always good to mix up your proxies if you go for a proxy. Just pick a spot. It's like throwing a dart at a dartboard. You never know where it's going to land, unless you're really good at darts, in which case, is that game even fun anymore? All jokes aside, of course. We see this Adept crossing the map here, going to be going for a bit of a scout. A second Adept out from MaNa, and then a Stargate on the way after that. So opening up a Stargate's a really cool build, and maybe, just maybe, we're going to see MaNa. This is, I mean, I don't have, unfortunately don't have the time to sit back and watch every StarCraft 2 tournament anymore like I used to. I still like to pay attention to the meta, though, and one thing that I've been waiting to see pop up more and more is whether Protoss really consistently go for that 3 Oracle play. Saw it used to great effect at GSL versus the World, and ever since, I've just always had that build in the back of my mind. Like, Protoss, man, 3 Oracles are good versus Terrans who underestimate your 3 Oracles. Now, this Adept, she's found herself a little bit trapped, but she's just going to run away. And SCV going to catch a Frisbee to the face there. Doesn't go down, though. Always surviving with 1 HP. Softened up maybe for a potential Oracle to come on in. Meanwhile, though, Time just going to be building up Marines here. Getting up a Cyclone. Starport. Wouldn't be surprised if we see a Viking with this Starport timing. Really the anti-Stargate play. Although, as far as anti-Stargate goes, Time has no idea what's going to be coming his way. The Adept going to try and catch this Reaper, and I think the Adept does get the Reaper, so very nice move there from MaNa, ensuring that gets shut down. He's also building up a ton of Chrono, by the way. MaNa, spend your Chrono, please. Like, or is he just going to use it for more Oracles? What is MaNa? Okay, this is actually a valid question. What is MaNa saving up so much Chrono for? Okay, he dumps 1 into a Probe, but he had like 2 Chronos on each Nexus there, essentially. Gotta see that used up more. We see the Oracle is gonna fly in here for MaNa. Meanwhile, the 3 Adepts thinking of shading on in. They're not going to make it up, or are they going to commit? MaNa actually does commit up that ramp, but oh no, there's a ton of Marines here. He's going to start focusing down SCVs. How many can he get? He gets 3 SCVs, picks off a Marine. Gonna maybe get another Marine or something there? No, just loses, I feel like committing with the Adepts would have been better there. In the end, though, he trades 2 Adepts for an SCV and 2 Marines. Definitely not worth it there for the Protoss. MaNa as well. Going up to a Phoenix is an interesting play. I guess just going to have that on patrol, maybe to shut down drops or anything like that. I mean, maybe could have killed off that SCV if he felt like committing the Adept there. But I really like that 3 Oracle play coming out of the Protoss these days. And I definitely wouldn't mind it. Now, we take a look here. MaNa just hanging out with his 2 Oracles for now. How's his probe count going? MaNa is building up so much energy. There we go. He just spends another chrono. Going to dump it onto his blink here, which I feel is very, very important for him, because if you go for the Stargate, then into the blink, your blink is delayed. We take a look here as well. Oracle's going to lift on up, or Phoenix going to lift on up that Cyclone, try and get on out of there, but that doesn't really work out. Doing a bit of a PVZ-esque play there from MaNa. Going to have himself up a few SCVs. This opening seems to be going alright for the Protoss. I feel like if everything was just controlled a little bit better, though, he could have got a bit more value there. And, I mean, I really like the move lifting up the Cyclone. That was a great play from the Protoss, but I feel like there was a few more bruised SCVs. MaNa maybe with different targeting could have made it work a little bit better. Once again, MaNa, he's saving up chrono. Like, it's really interesting how he hasn't just chrono boosted out all the probes he has. What is he saving up this energy for? I mean, he's getting up a lot of gateways. And when I say a ton of gateways, I mean a ton of gateways. Getting chrono boosting out of Warp Prism. I guess he just likes to save it, so he has it pretty much readily available. But I feel like if you're a Protoss, you can have a pretty significant worker count if you're chrono boosting or building workers all the time. That being said, MaNa really has no interest of building workers this game. We see he's researching charge, he's getting up Psystorm, or rushing workers, I should say, and that's the fact that he's gone for 6 gateways here. MaNa playing a very gateway-heavy style, and I'm willing to bet that this could be for some sort of all-in something, maybe like a Psystorm charge lot all-in. Based on the fact alone, the sole reason why I say that is that there's no upgrades coming out for MaNa. He's just going to be going into pure units here. Researching Psystorm should be dumping Chrono into this every second that he can, because he knows the Terran army is coming across the map. He's got this army tagged. That Chrono needs to be, or that Psystorm needs to be getting Chrono boosted right now. MaNa's just been poking around with the Stalkers, trying to get what he can done. But then we take a look. The Terran's coming on in, and this is going to be soon that the Terrans, we may need to see some force fields on this ramp to buy some time. I mean, Charge is getting researched too. But MaNa, he's still got energy for Chrono here. Where's the Charge Chrono? Where's the Psystorm Chrono? There's a Terran on your doorstep right now, MaNa. You need to get out those upgrades right away. If you don't have Charge for this fight, it's not going to happen. A fantastic Stasis Ward, or a pretty darn good Stasis Ward. Heard I say fantastic a lot in some of the YouTube comments there. Guilty as charged on that one. A nice Stasis Ward. That wasn't a fantastic one. But there we go, MaNa. I mean, like, he's not taking this fight because he had to wait for Charge, but I feel like if he just used some of his Chrono Boost energy that he built up, he could have taken this fight sooner. He could have saved his third Nexus. He's going to get fantastic Psystorms down on this army here. I mean, and the Zealots are going to charge on in here. They're going to work away on these Marines. There's really not a lot of anti-air to deal with the Liberators here. There's enough on the ground, really, though, to shut this down. But MaNa, he lost his third base. Time took a good fight there. Time basically had a fight that was gifted to him. MaNa should have had Charge sooner. He should have been able to intercept that army. And then MaNa, like, why am I harping on a Protoss player about basic macro mechanics here? Like, I don't understand, honestly. Like, sometimes I'm a bit critical of players here, but as far as MaNa, like, you've got the Chrono. You should always be spending it pretty much. I understand the desire of trying to have energy for a recall, but he's got 4 Chrono Boosts saved up right now. He had a number of Chrono Boosts early on in the game, and then he had a number of Chrono Boosts before that fight, which he should have used, and he just simply hasn't been. And my question for MaNa is, why? Why not? Like, he could have saved his third Nexus. Now he's in a bit of a tough spot. And so I feel like that's just a pretty big mistake from MaNa this game. And a bit of an uncharacteristic mistake. Like, this is something that you don't expect to see from MaNa. I feel like he's usually got everything on lock, and he's building up so much energy. This is looking like one of my ladder games. Just with building up to so much energy. Like, and it's just tough. I mean, he's now Chrono boosting out his upgrades, which is good. He's you should consistently be chrono boosting those out as a Protoss. But, like, this is still just like, oh man, like, I'm really harping on this one thing, I feel, and it's just, I don't understand why you have a Nexus that's almost at 200 energy as a Protoss 9.5 minutes into the game. 20 minutes games, it's like, okay, things are busy. This far into the game, no. It's just, and I can't even really harp on about it now, because the damage has already been done in a sense. And we take a look, MaNa. His worker count pretty much tied with the Terran. He tries to get off a cheeky Psystorm there onto the Terran army. I mean, the Terran army gets out of that pretty quickly, though. And we take a look here. MaNa's trying to find another nice Psystorm. He's warped in a few more High Templar. Does he have a Prism? Prism across the map. You're not here to drop Psystorms here. And you really need to be able to drop the Psystorms when there's siege tanks. So MaNa's going to have a very tough time breaking this. And his 1-1 is not yet done here. He's getting a nice counterattack with the Zealots at the third base this time, but you got to hold on. Psystorm dropping, catching a few of the Liberators, catching some of the tanks, but there's just too much bile on the ground. And MaNa is not going to be able to clean this up. He's warped in more Stalkers. He can micro well versus the Marines. But he's really gotta do that very, very quickly here because these Marines on his third base. MaNa can't afford to lose his third base again. He's evened things up a little bit by getting good SCV damage done to time. He recalls the probes out there, nicely done. But this is still looking a little bit rough for the Protoss. He does not have his +1/1 finished up just yet. If he can buy a little bit more time, there's the +1 armor finish, the +1 attack, 10 seconds behind it. At least he's got the armor. He's going to go for it. He's blinking on top of the Liberators there. Feedback going down. Charge going down on top of these tanks here. MaNa repels the Terran, but he lost his third base. And now that is very painful. MaNa's going to have to long distance mine. His main and natural pretty much mined out at this point. And he's going to have to try and rebuild that Nexus at some point, but he simply doesn't have the money. He's that broke. In time, he's got a functioning 3cc economy. His worker count was knocked down, but he is on a much, much better economy there than the Protoss. We see the extremes there. And I feel really bad for MaNa. Like, he's a very, very good Protoss player, but his games just haven't shown it this time. Going in for a Zealot counterattack, something that you've got to do as a Protoss at this point. You're just so far behind, you've got to try something. I mean, the tanks deal most of the damage there with the friendly fire, but not a lot of damage. This Warp Prism's trying to run away, but the Viking and the missile turret's working away on it. It could escape for MaNa, which would be very important. You need every little victory you can get at this point as the Protoss. And but at this point, like, you gotta give it to MaNa, though. I mean, he's going for a 4th Nexus, which I feel like if he hadn't lost his 3rd, he'd definitely, multiple times, he'd definitely have a 4th by now. The fact that he's warping in more High Templar, I think, is very important, too. At this point, you pretty much have to pray for the good AoE attacks to come back as the Protoss. You gotta shut down this Terran army hard. He kept the Prism alive, and that's very important, too. As you got to get the fatty Psystorms down on this Terran army. The Terran's pushing across the map. We need to see Psystorm in very, very good placement here. There's got to be a few getting dropped down here. I mean, there's Ghost out for time, but that's why you keep the High Templar in the Prism. The Prism going to be on very low HP, by the way. It could get sniped down very easily. You got to be careful of your MaNa. Oh, no, the Prism, it goes down. Oh, that is disastrous for the Protoss. Time. Amazing pick-off there, as he is just going to shut down that Prism. And that's hope gone for MaNa. He's got no AoE. He's got no High Templar. He's half the army supply. And, I mean, you maybe could have got Psystorms because there's always a chance, but once you've got no AoE as the Protoss, your comeback mechanic is gone. He's got a High Templar. It doesn't have energy. It's getting sniped on down. He's fallen. And there's MaNa gone. I mean, like, the 4th base, I really love the going for the 4th base. Like, you pray for the AoE, but losing that high-risk Prism there, it just hurts. And, oh man, the Probe's spilling forward, the Zealot's spilling forward. MaNa tries to hold on, but it's just not enough. And time takes the GG, takes the quick 3-0 versus the Protoss there, and just beautifully done there by the Terran. Just, MaNa, like, he's a very good Protoss. Don't write MaNa off, guys. Like, I know I really dug into him there about the chrono boost and everything, but that was just not his best series. Like, I feel like game number 1, he might have defended the damage a lot better. Game number 2, he might have got more damage done. And game number 3, like, I feel like he just would be better timed and everything. So, yeah, very well done by Time, just showing what he needs to do. Like, he played a very straight-up Terran game. I talked a lot about MaNa that game. Maybe because I'm a big MaNa fan, maybe because that's where most of the decisive plays were over on MaNa's side of the map, but No, anyway, if you ladies and gentlemen enjoyed this commentary, by the way, I've recently been fiddling with my mic settings, trying to get everything within reason a little bit. So let me know on the feedback on that. It might have been a bit loud for this commentary, but make sure to let me know the feedback. I actually literally just adjusted it as I'm wrapping up this video here, just because I realized it was a bit loud there. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. I'm putting out commentaries like this pretty much every single day. Like, I mean, of course, IRL happens. But yeah, if you enjoyed this video too, let's try and break 20 likes on it, ladies and gentlemen. Smash that like button like Time smashed MaNa in this series. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.